It's February 10th. Welcome into 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Here we are. It is the week of Valentine's Day, right? So I wanted to touch on something that I think is extremely important to both personal and business relationships. And it happened in my personal life, which is, it's interesting. A lot of what I bring to the show is things that do happen in my daily life. And this is one of those things. So today's topic is what I like to call hearing versus listening. There is a distinct difference, and I can tell you that because recently, within a member of my own family, we're having a very deep discussion, thinking everyone was engaged, fully engaged, and then days later, find out that they weren't listening, and that because some of the things that I had talked about that may take place at an upcoming family event did take place. I figured this individual knew because we had talked in depth, like an hour about the topic. Now, they didn't, and it caused a major rift. And what's frustrating about that mainly is not only did you go out of your way to have the discussion with someone so that you could try to stave that off because you knew it was going to happen. You knew based on the social construct what was about to take place. Well, they only heard the message. They didn't listen to the message. And there are so many people that I run into contact with that hear a lot and don't listen a lot. And I know that because I myself am guilty of it. And it's something that I've prided myself on for the last couple of years, trying to get better at. As a salesperson, it came to me naturally. I always loved listening to customers because the old adage goes, if you listen to a customer, they'll tell you how to sell them. That was always the best thing for me to do. I love to tune into that. But for some reason, when I got into the consulting role, I started to do, especially on the corporate side when I was doing consulting, it became more of a this is why, here's what, do this. And it was even that way at the beginning of Car Biz, which definitely rubbed people the wrong way. And so I learned that if I was able to take a step back and listen and not just hear what someone was saying. You see, when you hear someone, well, all you're doing is you're hearing it and you're automatically getting your reply together. But if you're listening, then over time in the conversation, you are constructing a conversation, not a reply or rebuttal to just change or hammer on or give opinion of what you just heard. So I struggle with it a lot because obviously we're in the car business where it's rapid pace, people are booming, everything's ready to happen. But we need to slow down so that you are able to listen. Because each one of us, what we're struggling with, if people would just take the time to listen, they may be able to help with that. And in our industry, it's so much about whether it's a Friday meeting or a Saturday meeting, someone standing up front and talking at you. Well, when someone's talking at you, it's almost, to me, common nature to just hear, in one ear, out the other. But I like to really listen to someone to find out. I learned a lot from starting this show and doing interviews with people and really trying to get the most out of people. And the best way to get the most out of people is to listen to them. So it's super easy to hear someone, but it's difficult to listen. And don't think that it's not lost on me that technology and all the things around us make it even more difficult because we have other things to catch our attention, keep our attention. But especially in personal life, that's the area in which I'm trying to even get better at listening. But I still full well know that I go to the hearing because I am by nature a fixer. So when I hear something, I immediately figure out how to fix it. And in most cases, especially in my personal life, that's not what those discussions are for. Those discussions are for you to be listening to someone so that they can potentially get what they have off their chest. It doesn't mean that it always needs a rebuttal. And in dealerships, I think that holds true maybe even more so than personal life. Because in dealerships, you assume that whoever's talking to you, if they're above you, are being critical of you, that they're coming at you. And I think that is something that is in how we present it, right? What is it? What is the tone of our voice? How do we go about presenting the information? But more importantly, are we one-on-one? Are we making sure that the active listening is taking place? because hearing people versus listening to people can make a world and worlds of difference for you. Trust me on that. So, the reason it really stuck out to me the most with this family event is because when you're having a discussion with people, the last thing I think you think of is this person listening to me? You just assume that they are. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but apparently now I need to be a little bit more cautious of the fact that potentially people are not. And that's something that is going to cause issue down the road, right? Somebody says, well, this is how that made me feel. Well, wait a second. If you were listening and then now you're criticizing how someone listens, that can be difficult as well. So let's leave it there, right? I think that's good enough. I think the point of the matter is that if you're someone who constantly is just hearing to reply, try listening to have a conversation, because hearing and replying is not a conversation. It's sort of a one-way road. But listening and constructing a conversation is far more valuable for the long-term reach of everybody. Okay? All right. Well, look, this again is a lot of fun. We're trying to keep them a little bit more concise this year. You know what I mean? So a little bit shorter, but thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. Don't forget it, Facebook, LinkedIn, all over the podcast network. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your special people in your life, and we'll see you again next Monday.